when I was in high school, it was like my absolute dream in life to go to film school, but I grew up in this community that's kind of plagued by like heroin addiction and poverty and a lot of stratification and violence and all sorts of not so great things. And one of the features of that is that you don't have a particularly solid public education system. And I ended up having to go to community college for 2 years, which ended up being a really cool, positive experience. And then when I got to the end of my time at community college, I got this scholarship called the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship, which is the largest transfer scholarship in the country, which completely paid for the rest of my undergraduate education and all of my graduate school. And the only schools that I applied to were one called the University of St. Joseph, which is a women's college in Connecticut, and one called Mount Holyoke. And I didn't know anything about either of them. I hadn't visited either of them, but I had an advisor who taught English at my community college who went to Mount Holyoke. And she's like, this is the best place on earth. I love Massachusetts. You're gonna love Massachusetts. You're a Massachusetts person. You're way too liberal for Connecticut. People are giving you a hard time. Go experience this world where you're gonna feel like your ideas are challenged but accepted in a way that's gonna be really peaceful and growth oriented for you. And I didn't make any active choices to get here except for trying to do school and trying to honor the people in my life and listening to advice when I got it. But it kind of came out of left field. So that is the story about how I ended up in Mount Holyoke. I would have told my younger self then, who was crying on my bedroom floor about a school I'd never seen and knew nothing about because I thought that was the only way I'd go to college to do this thing that I'd always wanted to do. I would have said, relax. There are so many things and possibilities out there that are still possible, and just because your first opportunity isn't the one that's going to work out for you doesn't mean that there aren't other ones that are better and weirder and more convoluted and more intrinsically you that will work out, that will come around later. And if you want to make something happen for yourself and you look around and you see that other people can't do that, if they tell you that you're not capable of it because they couldn't do it, it doesn't mean that you can't. It just means that you have to take initiative and get that information for yourself instead of relying on the hearsay of people who don't really know what they're talking about. I think that Mount Holyoke has made me realize that just because somebody is willing to be louder doesn't mean that they're the one who deserves to have room to speak, and that women deserve a place at the table. I think that it taught me that women have a right to exist. I know that sounds really strange, but I grew up in a town that was extremely conservative. I realized that I had something to offer aside from when other people asked me to speak and when other people gave me a space. I realized it was something that I could take. And likewise, when I saw other women doing that, it was something to learn from and embrace, not be scared of or feel like, hey, that's not what we're supposed to do. That's not what we're built for. So it just made me strong and empowered and really valued the strength and empowerment of all people, and especially people who don't fit into that binary, and realizing that there's like this huge spectrum of existence, and there's so many different kinds of people and ideas and entities and presence, and there's so much to learn from and appreciate in that diversity, and to value in my own and whatever it is that I offer.